For Marcus Aurelius, stress was born on the battlefield. It appeared suddenly, unpredictable, intense, and consuming. Yet he never won his battles in the field. He won them inside his mind. While armies clashed, advisors argued, and illness and betrayal surrounded him, something else would always happen within him. A storm would rise, then slowly fade. It would quiet itself, dissolve into stillness. And Marcus never tried to stop it, because he knew to suppress the storm is to strengthen it. Blowing on a fire to extinguish it only makes it burn brighter. Trying to stop the storm only pulls you deeper into it. Sometimes the only thing you must do is wait. Be patient, and the storm will dissolve on its own. The mind, left undisturbed, always finds its balance again. Marcus once wrote, "If something shakes you, it is not the thing itself, but your reaction to it. No event, no person, no fear can harm you unless you allow it to. But once you give permission, even the smallest event can leave the deepest scar." That line became the first law of his 5-minute protocol. Do nothing. Simply notice. Simply observe. Because the mind, when left alone, restores itself. Your only task, patience, just like nature. Today, we confuse fighting stress with strength. When a problem appears, we rush to fix it, to plan, to act, to solve. But sometimes, the real solution is to do nothing, because stress is like a muscle. The more you tighten it, the more it contracts. Only when you release it does it relax. Marcus applied this not to his body, but to his mind. One morning, he wrote, "Today, I feel low, but this too is part of nature. I do not fight my nature, I try to understand it." That day, he made a decision. When stress came, he would not fight it. He would give it 5 minutes. 5 minutes of doing nothing, just watching it, letting it pass through. For a Stoic, stress is not an enemy. It is a teacher. Because when it tries to control you, it shows you where you are weak. It reveals where you've lost your center. For Marcus, stress was an inner alarm bell. You are not yet in alignment. That's why he never resisted it. When stress came, he didn't shut his mind. He closed his eyes, breathed deeply, and simply felt. His mind didn't move with the storm. It watched the storm unfold, like an observer in a theater. Modern man can't do this. Every feeling today is seen as a problem to fix. The moment we feel bad, we rush to escape. We play a video, send a message, listen to music, distract ourselves from the voice within. It works, but only for a moment, because the feeling waits patiently. And when it finds space again, it returns. Marcus warned, keeping yourself busy is another form of running away. You're not escaping it. You're only postponing it. That's why Marcus didn't run. He sat, he stayed, he waited. And in that waiting, stress dissolved on its own. Because an emotion that is not suppressed returns to nature and resolves. Marcus's waiting discipline was a kind of mental surgery. The mind creates pain, and the mind removes it. Like a wound that heals only if you stop touching it. Keep scratching it, and it never closes. Today, stress itself isn't the problem. Our resistance to it is. The more we fight it, the stronger it grows. Marcus saw this clearly. Those who interfere with nature lose their peace. So he didn't stop the storm. He watched the rain. He felt the wind. And in 5 minutes of stillness, the storm consumed itself. One day, his advisor said, "Your Majesty, you must decide now. There's no time." Marcus smiled. "No time?" he said. "Time is within me." He closed his eyes, took a breath, and remained silent for 5 minutes. He didn't speak. He didn't think. He simply was. And when he finally opened his eyes, His first words were not a decision, but a realization. I am no longer in a hurry. That was the secret of Marcus Aurelius' stress protocol. To do nothing was to realign everything. While the mind fought, silence won, because silence never resists. And what does not resist cannot be broken. To Marcus, stress was a guest. He opened the door, let it in, watched it. The guest would leave, and peace would remain. You can do the same. When stress visits, do nothing. Sit. For 5 minutes, give no reaction. Do not speak. Do not think. Do not move. Just exist. The storm in your mind will fade on its own, because nature always returns to balance, and you'll realize the thing that calmed the storm was never your power, but your silence. Marcus wrote, "When a wave rises above you, do not resist. Let it pass. Because you are the sea, it is only the surface." And that is the first step of the 5-minute stress protocol. Do not try to stop the storm, because every storm you fight pulls you in, but every storm you wade through ends by itself. For Marcus Aurelius, waiting was not passivity. It was preparation. To him, waiting was the art of watching the mind return to balance. It gave the soul the time it needed to heal itself. He called it the breath of the soul, allowing the mind to release its own weight without interference. Most people, when faced with stress, react immediately. They speak, explain, defend. But Marcus was different. Before reacting, he didn't think. He simply waited, because he knew the moment you interfere with a thought, you become its prisoner. But when you wait, the thought loses its root. Marcus said, "The first thing you say belongs to your emotions. The second belongs to you." He once wrote, "If you want an emotion to rule you, pay attention to it. But if you want to rule it, observe it." This was the second step of his 5-minute protocol, waiting. But this was not ordinary waiting. It was what he called the mental transition point, the moment where the energy of emotion is allowed to fade. Marcus learned this on the battlefield. There, every second and every decision drew the line between life and death. And that line almost always favored the commander who could wait. For Marcus, waiting was not strategy. It was awareness. When an enemy attacked, immediate reaction was weakness. The strong remained silent, watched, and allowed time itself to serve them. Because time is the ally of the patient. Today, however, we fight against time. We live in an age of impatience. We want everything instantly. Answers, relief, solutions. But the mind is not mechanical. It is like a wound. It heals only when left alone. Marcus described it simply. Step on a wound, and it bleeds. Leave it alone, and nature will repair it. That is the power of waiting. Your task is not to heal, but to let nature heal you. Modern people mistake waiting for weakness. Those who wait, think, and endure are seen as powerless. But waiting is a mastery. Because in waiting, ego dissolves, will grows, the urge to control fades. And in that space, the mind returns to its natural equilibrium, a state where no event can disturb you, and no storm within can shake you. Before beginning his morning meditation, Marcus would spend 5 minutes doing absolutely nothing. No writing, no thinking, no praying. He would simply sit and listen to his breath. That was his transition point. For those 5 minutes, his mind still carried the night, fatigue, worry, heaviness. But he noticed something. Even without doing anything, those feelings slowly dissolved on their own. That awareness made him the calmest ruler Rome ever knew. Because the one who waits is always on the winning side. Time serves the patient and rules the impatient. Today, we can't even wait 5 seconds in a stressful moment. We rush to escape it, to fix it, to silence it. But Marcus's secret was to remain silent for 5 minutes. 5 full minutes of no reaction. That was the peak of awareness. Because after those 5 minutes, the mind no longer rules you. You rule it. You become the sovereign of your own mind, and your thoughts begin to obey you. Marcus wrote in his journal, "When something angeys you, stay silent for 5 minutes. If the anger still remains, then speak with it." But most of the time, there was no need, because those 5 minutes of waiting extinguished the fire. In that waiting, anger vanished quietly, and the mind returned to its natural rhythm, like clouds drifting apart after a storm, revealing the sunlight beneath. Waiting is the twin of silence. Both are born from the same root, letting go of control. The tighter you hold, the more you lose. The more you release, the more you gain. Marcus's 5-minute protocol was not magic. It was the algorithm of nature. When pressure decreases, balance returns. Your task is only to wait, because sometimes inaction is the deepest form of action. And in that waiting, something miraculous happens. Time slows down. Your pulse eases. Your thoughts clear. And there comes a moment when stress doesn't disappear. It simply loses its meaning. It no longer controls you. You observe it. That was Marcus Aurelius's understanding. You cannot stop time, but you can stop within it. The power of waiting draws time to your side. And when that moment arrives, you realize there is nothing left to fight. We know that Marcus Aurelius never fought against stress, but that didn't mean he did nothing. Without realizing it, he created history's first mental protocol, an inner system, a ritual, an algorithm for liberation. Today, we call it the 5-minute Stoic protocol, but Marcus described it in one sentence. Nature rewards those who do not rush. The protocol seems simple, but it is deep. Each second of those 5 minutes carries a specific purpose, a precise rhythm that resets the mind. In Marcus's journals, those 5 minutes were divided as follows. Minute 1. Suspend, suspender. Marcus defined the first step as stopping the thought. But stopping was not suppression. He viewed the mind as a theater stage. Thoughts enter, play their roles, and leave. You are merely the audience. So for the first minute, do not say yes or no to any thought. Simply watch. This is the first step toward restoring the mind's rhythm. Marcus wrote, "To stop a thought is not to suppress it. It is to release it." Modern people have forgotten this. We try to control our thoughts, but control only feeds them. Marcus's secret was simple. Observe a thought, and it shrinks. Refuse to fight it, and it leaves. Minute 2. Distinguish, distinguer. In the second minute, Marcus made a mental distinction. Is this thing in me or from me? When something disturbs you, ask this first. Is it the event itself that hurts you, or your interpretation of it? Marcus said. No external event can wound the soul. Only your judgment can. That moment of awareness was the mind's greatest leap, because then you stop searching for the source of stress outside yourself. The storm was never out there. It was in your perception. And at that instant, the root of stress was cut. He called this the discipline of the soul. When the mind asks that question, it draws its energy back from the outer world. It no longer reacts, it observes. And in that moment, control returns to you. Minute 3, accept, exciper. The third minute was the heart of the protocol, the moment when resistance ends. To Marcus, resisting nature was humanity's greatest mistake, because everything happens as it must. Your task is not to fight, but to align. The plan of the universe is greater than your own. Marcus wrote those words in the midst of war. He was sick, betrayed, and surrounded by despair. Yet he said, "These are the notes of my destiny. I am only trying to understand the melody." Acceptance is not surrender. Acceptance is harmony. In this minute, your only act is to breathe deeply and whisper to yourself, "This too shall pass," and it always does. Acceptance neutralizes the poison of stress. Minute 4. Observe, observer. The 4th minute was the peak of awareness. By now, thoughts had paused, judgments had separated, resistance had melted. The mind became a mirror. Everything reflected, but nothing was held. He described this state like this: the calmer the lake, the more clearly it reflects the sky. In this minute, imagine your mind as that lake. Every emotion, every thought is a ripple. Ripples come and go, but the lake always remains. That lake is your consciousness. From this clarity, Marcus made his decisions. Because in this state, emotions no longer spoke, reason did. When the mind grows silent, inner intuition awakens. And that intuition stands above every storm. Minute 5, return, regire. The final minute was the moment of rebirth. Marcus called it the return. The storm has passed, but its traces remain. Those traces are lessons. So at the end of every session, he asked himself, "What has this stress taught me?" The answers were always simple: patience, surrender, awareness. Sometimes nothing, but even nothing teaches. Marcus wrote, "With every storm the mind survives, it becomes quieter." By the end of these 5 minutes, the mind resets. There is no reaction, only awareness. No stress, only observation. This is a return to human nature. No drug, no technique, no motivational speech can do this. Because the mind, by its very nature, heals itself. You only have to allow it. This was Marcus Aurelius's 5-minute protocol: to do nothing, and yet to reorder everything. Not to escape, not to suppress, not to resist, just to wait, to see, to understand. Today, we modern humans think fighting stress is strength, but real strength is to remain silent. Because the silent man is the one who listens to his mind, and the one who listens to his mind speaks in harmony with the universe. Marcus said it best: the universe is silent. If you wish to hear it, you must become silent too. From the outside, Marcus Aurelius's life looked like a constant storm. Everywhere, conflict, disaster, unrest. It resembled our modern world. Wars, plagues, betrayals, corruption. Every corner of Rome burned. Yet those who looked at Marcus's face never saw the storm. His calm was visible, his stillness tangible, because his expression never changed. Always composed, always at peace. As if, while the world was on fire, he lived in another universe. A universe called mental balance. Marcus's mind was vast like Rome, but organized. And in every moment of stress, he would rebuild that order. He called it mental reset, the art of returning to silence after the storm. Because to him, chaos wasn't an enemy. It was a teacher, reminding him of balance. Marcus once wrote, "Every storm carries a calm within itself. If you find that calm, no external noise can destroy you." That line explained the final stage of his mental protocol. When stress subsided, the mind was never left empty. Because emptiness always seeks to fill itself again. And Marcus filled that emptiness consciously, with balance. For him, mental reset was a kind of rebirth. Just as Rome had to be rebuilt after war, Marcus rebuilt his mind after every wave of stress. Step 1. Observe the chaos. Marcus never denied chaos. Instead, he studied it. He didn't ask what happened. He asked why it affected him. It is not the event that disturbs me. It is my judgment of it. The enemy is not outside, it is within. With this awareness, the mind stops blaming itself. Chaos no longer consumes you. You observe it. And in that observation, chaos loses its power. Step 2. Restore order. After every stressful event, Marcus would reorganize his mind. Like an emperor, rearranging his legions. He assigned every thought a place. Fear beneath courage. Worry beside awareness. Anger behind patience. That was his inner structure. Because he knew, if a man cannot create order in his own mind, he will never find peace outside. This step allowed stress to dissolve into balance. The mind no longer focused on chaos, but on order. And order gives birth to peace. Step 3. Rebuild silence. To Marcus, silence was not the absence of speech. It was the reset point of inner energy. After every thought, every emotion, every sound, when silence returned, the mind cleansed itself. It became clear again. When the mind grows silent, it begins to breathe again. At the end of a stressful day, Marcus would take up his pen, write a single line, then stop. That line was often simple. Today I lived. Today I endured. Today I remained faithful to nature. That was enough. Because he knew, balance is not born from complex thoughts, but from simple awareness. Step 4. Return, retire. The final phase of mental reset was returning to life, but not as the same person, now calmer, slower, more aware. For Marcus, stress was not an enemy, it was a threshold. Each time he crossed it, he became a little wiser. Every difficulty is a test given by nature, and every test makes me stronger. So when the storm ended, he didn't rush back into life. He paused. He took a breath. He greeted the universe. That quiet moment was his victory, silent yet infinite in meaning. Today's modern mind sees chaos as an error, but Marcus saw it as training for the soul. Each stressful moment was an exercise, strengthening the muscles of the mind. The mind grows strong through discomfort. Nothing that grows easily endures. Mental reset was born from that understanding. When chaos comes, don't fight it. Observe it. And when it exhausts its energy, a new order will rise within you. Because balance is not found in the silence of the world, but in the awareness within yourself. Marcus summed it up perfectly. The balance of the universe is not outside you. It lives within your breath. And that breath is your 0 point, your moment of rebirth. That's where stress ends, and where you once again begin. Do you know Marcus Aurelius' greatest secret? He never tried to win. Even in war, his goal was not victory, it was integrity. For him, true victory was to remain right when everything around him was wrong. Because he knew the triumphs of the outer world are temporary, but when the mind wins its inner war, that victory is eternal. And that kind of victory is never forgotten, even centuries later. This was what he called winning without doing anything. The death of stress came through a silent triumph. No applause, no battle cry, only an inner whisper. It's over. Marcus once wrote, "Victory is not defeating an enemy. Victory is ceasing to be one." That line is the summit of Stoic philosophy. Because at that point, you no longer fight stress. You no longer even see it as a threat. It becomes only a guest. It comes, teaches you something, and leaves. Marcus called this the silent victory. While others in Rome glorified conquest, armies, and gold, he wrote in his journal, "Today anger came, and I did nothing, and it left on its own." That is the greatest empire of all. The philosophy of silent victory. What Marcus taught was simple yet razor-sharp. Non-reaction is the highest form of awareness, because reaction hands your control to the outside world, but silence keeps your power within. For a Stoic, victory is not defeating anyone. It is never needing to fight again. Marcus once told his students, "If a thought can no longer shake you, it can no longer chain you. In that moment, the chain breaks, and freedom is born, not outer freedom, but inner. Doing nothing is the wisest action. For Marcus Aurelius, doing nothing was not passivity. It was wisdom, because nature was already doing its work. Your interference only disturbed its order. When you try to change the river's course, the water grows murky. But if you let it flow, it finds its own clarity. Everything happens as it must, as long as you don't interfere. That sentence is the key that kills stress, because stress is born from the desire to control. But when you stop trying to control, stress loses its meaning. Nature fights on your behalf. You simply watch. Modern people mistake this for weakness, but it is, in fact, the highest mental resilience. Because doing nothing requires the death of ego. And when ego falls silent, wisdom speaks, Marcus's final victory. Historians tell us, as Marcus Aurelius lay on his deathbed, his physician tried to comfort him. "You can endure a few more days," the doctor said. Marcus smiled and answered, "I have endured because I never resisted." That sentence summarized his entire philosophy. He did not win by fighting. He won by accepting. He accepted every condition, every circumstance, without rebellion. He freed not his body, but his mind. Because he understood, every war lasts only until surrender. And when surrender arrives, the war ends. Marcus's victory was not that of an empire, but of a soul. Even if Rome were to fall, he would not, because his victory lived in silence, and that silence carried a timeless power. I did nothing, yet everything fell into place. Your own silent victory. You can experience this victory too, without forcing, without suppressing. Simply stop, wait, observe. When your mind ceases to fight, nature joins your side, and life begins to correct itself. Marcus Aurelius's silent victory was not just philosophy, it was reality. Quiet the storm within you, and the world will quiet with you. And in that moment, stress dies, but you do not. You are reborn, silent, strong, uncheckable. Your own silent victory. You can experience this victory too, without forcing, without suppressing. Simply stop, wait, observe. When your mind ceases to fight, nature joins your side, and life begins to correct itself. Marcus Aurelius's silent victory was not just philosophy, it was reality. Quiet the storm within you, and the world will quiet with you. And in that moment, stress dies, but you do not. You are reborn, silent, strong, uncheckable.